So green flags at the end of the pre-grid, and we are about to get underway with our last of our first finals. The finals day for round 3 of the championship. It's DD2 and DD2 Masters out on track now. 18 competitors it looks like that Thomas Piet will not be racing. So on the front row it is Daniel Mahacek and Niki La making it an Austrian front row on home soil. Zenderu and Martin Henkel-Mortens on row 2. Manuel Tenschat and Guru Vililainen row 3. Konstantin Schürrle and Dionysius Livridis, row 4. Max Fleischmann, currently second in the standings, around 23 points behind Martin Henkel-Mortens. Has Johan Andersson for the company on row number 5. Matthias Lund and Geza Fordor on row 6. Piotr Wisnicki and Marcel Steiner, row 7. Moransky and Adams, row 8, and rounding out the 18 strong will be Patrick Weinstock and William van der Kaj, and we are set to get underway very, very shortly. So again, for Senior Max and DD2 and DD2 Masters, every final this year in the Rotax Max Euro Trophy will be competed over 14 minutes plus 1 additional lap. Full course yellow conditions are being observed by all drivers as we wait for the front row to get into position and start controlling the pace. As the tyres are the Mojo D5 tyres that are used by the Senior Max and the DD2 categories, are the spec tyres that we use for this championship. So they now come towards the final part of the track here at Speedworld in Austria, as we're about to get the last of our first finals. The finals day for round 3, Rotax Max Euro Trophy 2018 here in Austria. The tension rises as the field comes to an absolute crawl, heading into the penultimate right-hander. And then we now come around the left-hander as the drivers get ready to push the throttle to the floor as the revs rise, the lights go out, and we head down into turn 1. And it looks like Niki La had an issue there. Full start has been called. Full start has been called. So stringent measures were put in following the team chef meeting last night. So a full start has been called by the race director. So top 10 is Mahacek and La, Deru, Henkel-Mortensen, Tenschat, Vililainen, Schürrle, Livridis, Fleischmann, Andersson. That is your top 10. As we regroup for DD2 and DD2 Masters, your pole sitter in DD2 Masters will be Manuel Tenschat, starting on row 3 in 5th position. So he will have the inside run going into turn number 1. As the drivers now re-prepare themselves for the start procedure here in Austria. This is the first full start that we've had confirmed by our race director this weekend, as the field now is actually bunched up a little bit quicker this time around as they go towards the penultimate part of the track. So it's time to get back in the zone, refocus, reset, and get ready to push the throttle to the floor once again here in DD2 Masters and DD2, the second time of asking here in Austria. So the anticipation for another explosive final awaits. They come round the final left-hander onto the start-finish straight. Back into the tram lines we go. We now go green again. And it looks like Niki La is now down into 5th, maybe even make that 6th place there. So it looks like we have a green, a clear start this time around, with Mahacek now leading. And looks like Zenderu now already up into 2nd position. So we could have the likes of Niki La probably in 4th at the moment, Konstantin Schürrle in 5th. Looks like Tenschat now up into 3rd, and is the leading DD2 Masters driver on the circuit at the moment as the leaders come round to complete lap number 1. And so it's Mahacek and Deru. Gap between them is 4/10 of a second. Tenschat 3rd. Konstantin Schürrle, Maxi Fleischmann, Martin Henkel-Mortensen now complete the top 6. So Niki La ended up 7th as we went into turn number 1. as there's more overtakes happening a bit further down the back part of the order, through into the infield section. And it looks like Mahacek is employing the same tactics that he showed in both qualifying heats he competed in yesterday, trying to just break away from the pack. We'll see what the gap is between him and Zenderu very shortly. Well, it's nearly half a second. Tenshert now back down into 5th position, which is where he started when we went green, around sort of a minute and 40 ago. So that means that Henkel Mortens and Schürrle now up into 4th and 3rd respectively. Fleischmann now down in 6th position, but he did start 9th, so he made some inroads initially when we went green. So he would have had the inside run going into turn 1. Dionysius Livridis, on the meantime, started 8th and is now sitting in 10th position, having gotten past Piotr Wisnicki. And so now we're seeing that Mahacek, because of the pace that he's shown all weekend long, he went sub 42 earlier on this weekend in terms of pure lap time during either practice or qualifying. But the fastest lap of the race is not being held by him at the moment. Martin Henkel Mortensen, remotivated after a difficult first day in the office, now has done a 42.445. And you can now see how close he is to both Zenderu and Konstantin Schürrle. But the thing is that Mahacek is not getting away as I thought he might do. But we still have quite a lot of this race left to go here. But Mahacek has extended that gap slightly. He was nearly, well, he's over 0.2 of a second quicker than Zenderu, who's got Konstantin Schürrle a further 0.2 of a second adrift. And then you've got Martin Henkel Mortensen, who is right on his back bumper, heading down the far side of the track. Now they come into this very momentum-carrying and technical infield section, and it's a double left-hander. So 4.01 of Konstantin Schürrle is being hounded quite literally by Martin Henkel Mortensen. Well, Mortensen, it looks like he might have made a mistake coming into the last complex. And Mahacek now is starting to pull away. He did a 42.610. Zenderu last time around did a 42.730. Konstantin Schürrle also running in the 42.7s, whereas Martin Henkel Mortensen on the last lap did a 43.0. So, Thomas Piet confirmed as a non-starter this weekend for the 2 finals. It looks to be the case. Mahacek leads by over 8.5 of a second from Zenderu. I think the gap could be more like a second this time around. And it's 1.1, so that's another 0.3 that Mahacek has gained in terms of the distance between himself and the number 435. With Konstantin Schürrle having been... Oh, there we go. Nice move by Martin Henkel Mortensen to go up the inside of Konstantin Schürrle on the far side of the track to take 3rd position. So, leaders in the respective classes is Mahacek in DD2 and Tenshert in the 584 in 6th on the road. So just keeping an eye on some of the lap times. Zenderu did a 42.6. Martin Henkel Mortensen did a 42.8. So Deru seems to have a bit more pace under his car at the moment, but there's still plenty of this race left to go. We have 8 minutes 45 seconds plus 1 additional lap. As Dionysius Livridis gets past Ville Villainen for 9th position. I'm wondering whether he did that late braking manoeuvre he did on Matthias Lund yesterday in the last qualifying heat, which was an impressive feat there, I think, going into turn 1. So that seems to be a pretty good chance of getting the slipstream and then getting the toe into turn 1 and sweep up the inside. So the gap between Mahacek in the 430 and Zenderu in the 435, it's nearly 1.25 seconds. So Mahacek is being just quite relentless in his consistency in the lap times that he's setting, anywhere between a 42.4 and a 42.6 at the minute. His best lap time of the race was done on lap number 6, a 42.430. So the Austrian is still making that, just taking little steps to move away from the rest of the field and keep himself out of harm's way in the process. No other changes in position at the moment. But the running order in terms of the entire field, it's Mahacek from Daru, Henkel Mortensen in 3rd, Konstantin Schürrle 4th, Max Fleischmann now up into 5th position, Tenschert 6th, Lund 7th, Niki La in 8th, Dionysis Liveris, who's about 6/10 off the Austrian, in 9th place. Ville Villainen rounds out the top 10. Piotr Wisnicki gets past Johan Andersson for 11th place. Moransky up into 13th, Bodor 14th, Steinert 15th, Weinstock, Van der Kaj rounding out the 18th strongest, Christoph Adams. The entire field separated by just over 10 seconds on the last lap around, as Mahacek comes round to complete lap 9. So into double figures in terms of lap count now. 6 minutes 50 seconds plus an additional lap to go here in his first DD2 and DD2+Masters final. And the gaps are starting to extend somewhat. The gap between Henkel Mortensen and Konstantin Schürrle is now 1.3 seconds. Then it's a further 1.2 seconds back to Germany's Max Fleischmann, who's got Tenschert with him for company, around sort of 0.3 of a second behind. So the gap now from Daniel Mahacek to Zenderu, that's your leader and second position. It's now 1.887 seconds as we go with 6 minutes left on the clock plus one additional lap to go in DD2 and DD2+Masters final number 1 here, before we go to the customary lunch break a little bit earlier than scheduled due to no second chance heats this weekend. But the drivers that I'm keeping a close eye on in terms of the timing screens is Max Fleischmann in 5th, Tenschert in 6th, and Matthias Lund is separated by about 0.6 of a second. So I think that's going to be where our major battle within the field is going to be. In terms of the lap times, last time around, well, Tenschert was the slowest of the trio. Lund was a 1,000th of a second quicker than Max Fleischmann on the very same lap. And the gap remains at round about sort of just under 0.7 of a second between the trio. That's 5th, 6th and 7th. Niki La didn't really take any time out of Matthias Lund on that particular lap because he's about 0.7 of a second off. So Mahacek continues to calmly and well composed extend that lead to now 2.238 seconds. Martin Henkel Mortensen was not as quick as Zenderu, who put in a 42.598. That's not the best lap from the 4:35. Henkel Mortensen, I think, is just doing damage limitation this weekend. He'll still get 16 points for finishing 3rd in this final, which will put him on 106 at the end of this particular final itself. Fleischmann also will get a good haul of points. He'll be into double figures if things were to finish as they are now. 4 minutes and 10 seconds on the clock, plus one additional lap. So we've probably got about 5 minutes of this final still to go here in Austria. And Mahacek has still got the fastest lap. He's done but last time around he did a 42.459. Zenderu, well, Martin Henkel Mortensen has just taken just over a 10th and a half out of Zenderu just then. So the gap between the duo is now half a second. Konstantin Schürrle a little bit further adrift, but has Max Fleischmann, Tenschert and Lund. That quartet is separated by just 1.2 seconds. We still have 3.5 minutes plus one additional lap to go here in the DD2 and the DD2+Masters final number 1. And another 2/10 go in the favour of Daniel Mahacek, who has just done a 42.401, a fraction off his best lap time 2 laps ago. Zenderu is now 2.5 seconds adrift. in second position. Henkel Mortensen is still there with him. There or thereabouts, to probably the tune of about 4.5 tenths of a second. But Konstantin Schöll, I'm just looking at his times at the minute. He did a 42.963. Max Fleischmann, 42.877. Manuel Tenschert, 42.795. And Matthias Lund was the fastest of the quartet with a 42.778. And that quartet is split by just now 1.1 seconds. Let's see what the lap times are now. Schöll does a 42.795. Fleischmann does a 42.720. Tenschert 42.933. Matthias Lund this time around was slowest of the quartet, 42.982 from the 408. And looks like, unfortunately, it's another non-finish for Willem van der Kuij from the Netherlands in the 410. He's parked it around 3 laps ago. So 2 minutes to go, plus one more lap here in the DD2 and the DD2 Masters first final of the day here for round 3 of the 2018 Rotax Max Euro Trophy season. Zen Daru's distance between himself and Daniel Mahacek, who leads the race still, is 2.7 seconds. And it's still very, very close between Max Fleischmann, Manuel Tenschert and Matthias Lund. From 5th to 7th place. And the gap to Niki Lah in 8th is around still another 9 tenths of a second. With Dionysius Livris and also Ville Villainen, I think they're going to be squabbling in the latter stages for 9th and 10th position as we fast approach the last 60 seconds plus one additional lap of this race. And again, Mahacek running so consistently in the 42.4s. And Zen Daru has just done a 42.608. Henkel Mortensen, 42.468. Konstantin Schöll did a 42.808. Tenschert did a 42.727. And is within 3 tenths of Max Fleischmann now. That is your potential battle on the cards for 5th place. Meanwhile, there's been a change for position for 10th as Ville Villainen loses out to Piotr Wisnicki from Poland. So number 45 gets past for 10th place on the road. So with about 30 seconds to go, Daniel Mahacek now starts lap number 19, as do Zen Daru, Henkel Mortensen, Schöll, Fleischmann, Tenschert, Lund, Lah, Livris, Wisnicki, Villainen. Moransky now all the way down, has now gone down into 13th position. So the initial points leader when we left Genk in April, now down into 13th on the road. However, he is still second in the DD2 Masters category. So the time has now expired, and when Daniel Mahacek comes across the start-finish line to start lap number 20, it will be the final lap of this DD2 and DD2 Masters final. And again, setting another 42.4. That's incredible consistency. I think that's something Oliver's going to have to speak to him about post-race. Zen Daru's gap between him and Daniel Mahacek now to 3.1 seconds. We're now on the final lap of the race. So, for the final time comes Daniel Mahacek from Austria through the infield, heading towards the final part of the circuit here in Bruck an der Leitha in Austria. And it's going to be a very convincing and calculating win for the Austrian as he comes around the final corner and takes the checkered flag to win DD2 final number 1. Zen Daru just narrowly stays ahead of Martin Henkel Mortensen to round out the top 2. The current points leader will take 16 points from this encounter, so that will put him on 106 after this particular final. Konstantin Schöll takes 4th ahead of Max Fleischmann, with Manuel Tenschert taking DD2 Masters victory here in final number 1. In 6th place ahead of Matthias Lund, Niki Lah, Dionysius Livris, Piotr Wisnicki, Ville Villainen, Johan Andersson, Slavomir Moransky, Geza Fodor, Marcel Steinert, Patrick Weinstock and Christoph Adams, with William van der Kuij finishing 8 laps down, having parked it on lap 13 with Thomas Biat, a non-starter.